As our first step, let's start by defining some geometry points. And we can define those points individually using a code block to just enter some values and then the point by coordinates node to actually create the points. Or we could think about maybe defining a series of points. Again, using some code blocks to kind of create a series of x values, maybe make a nice function to compute some z values. Then we'll aggregate those together using the point by coordinates function. So let's just take a look at what that might look like. So here we are looking at a dynamo graph, and we could basically go through and using option 1, just connect these different O values. Now again, I can use code blocks if I want these to be relatively static, or I can use sliders if I want these to be more dynamic and easy to flex. But I'm just going through and creating some different points here. Let me turn on automatic calculation for this graph, just because this is all relatively lightweight. And we'd like to see the updates immediately. Okay, so there's those 3 different points that have been created. Okay, so not so exciting is option 2. Let's think about doing this more as a series, where I'm going to create a series of values 0 to 30 incrementing by 2. So you'll see that creates this series 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Now, what I want to do is have some sort of function which is going to relate these things together. Okay, so I've created a nice little code block function which is going to take those x values just somewhere between a starting value and an ending value, then divide it through by a scale factor. It's going to create a little kind of multiply it, create a little parabolic curve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take those x values, I'm going to take the end value there. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of a scaling factor on there too. So what this is going to do is just create a series of different points. And if I connect those in, actually I've connected this a little bit wrong. My ending value is right here. For the x range, these are going to be my y values. Okay, let's get that right for you. So I create a nice looking curve. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I've created a little parabolic curve again with the x values starting at 0, the ending value being 30, and the little function that relates them together and gives me that little scalable parabolic curve. Okay, and you'll see as I drag this slider around, I can change that series. There we go. Okay, now that we've created the points, let's go ahead and start aggregating them together and building a curve.